All right. Welcome back again to Brown Neck Reviews, and I am that guy from Brown Neck Reviews. Today, I just wanted to do an overview on my semi automatic rifle. All right. And before we go any further, I need to show you that it is, in fact, empty. All right. Nothing in the magazine. Okay, so a lot of you are looking at this and saying, oh, that's an AR-15. No, it is not an AR-15. This is a semi-automatic rifle. The AR-15 is manufactured by Colt, all right? And that is the civilian model of the M4, which is semi-automatic only. And this is also a semi-automatic rifle, okay? Nothing more, nothing less. Chambered in 5.56, 223, and magazine fed. So I built this rifle, I think about maybe 15 years ago, 17 years ago. So I don't know, maybe it's considered vintage now or something. But I built it piece by piece back then when parts for AR pattern type of rifles were very inexpensive, and you can get them for really cheap compared to the crazy prices that we have now. Um, this is the second firearm that I've ever owned after my bolt action that I got, Remington 700, and is probably the most versatile. This is semi-automatic only, and so it is not a full auto weapon of war like an M4 or any of those other rifles. All right, and so let's go over it. From front to back. I am running a compensator. This compensator is actually a newer compensator. I think bought about maybe 8 years ago. So this is a VG6 compensator, right? And you can see that it will allow for the barrel to maintain its point of aim as much as possible. So you can see that when the round ejects from the front, the gas pressure will go up out of the top holes and the sides, thereby making the barrel stabilize, as much mitigate the kick up as much as possible to keep it straight. All right, and then we go to this, which is a stainless steel BCA barrel, which a lot of people say, oh yeah, it's unreliable, BCA, whatever. Well, I've had this barrel for as long as I've built this gun, and I've never had any problems with it. I mean, it's been shooting about 1 MOA, 1.5 MOA, and it shoots great. Never had any problems, just kept it clean, and it works wonderful. This is actually a wild barrel, so it's a little bit tighter than your 5.56 in the chamber, which I think attributes to its accuracy. So I think when I bought this barrel, it was on sale for something like $80 or something like that. And then going back a little bit more, we have a Noveske branded SWS quad rail, right? So this quad rail, I got it used long time ago, and believe it or not, I built this gun when I was still living in California. And so the quad rail is Noveske branded. That was back when basically they were just concentrating on barrels, and then I guess they just started going into other types of AR accessories. And I think it was Superior Weapon Systems was the company that actually made this quad rail. And so Noveski themselves actually branded and used SWS as an OEM to sell these quad rails, these hand guards. And you can see there's the Noveski logo side, right? That is actually was actually on there, and it was red when I got it used a while back. And these were actually um, SWS actually made quad rails for law enforcement and actual duty weapons. And so I felt pretty confident in getting this one used. I think it was from an LEO, uh, about 15, 16 years ago. Um, it's a great quad rail. I mean, it's actually fairly light, and you can see by all the cuts that it has in there. And I also have a Magpul hand stop on the front right here for quad rails. But the quad rail has been great. The only thing I didn't like about it is that you actually had to key the barrel nut that this attaches to. So unlike most of today's quad rails where you can just tighten the barrel nut, this one you actually had to tighten it and line up the holes where the quad rail would screw into with the upper receiver. All right. So that was the only thing that really bothered me about it. But other than that, this thing's been reliable. It's had no problems whatsoever. And so I keep it on there, and it's nice. And the you can't see it, but the gas block on the inside, it's a carbine length gas system. The gas block that I'm using is a VLTOR gas block. Um, and then as we go back, we'll see that also the upper receiver that I'm using on here is a VLTOR billet receiver. Okay. Now this one has the Viltor little logo on there. I don't think that they make this upper receiver anymore. I haven't seen them. I know Viltor still makes this style of receiver, but they don't have that cool looking, sword like logo on there, and that's actually partly why I bought it, because I like that logo so much. And here's a view of the other side of the upper receiver. It says Viltor MUR1 Viltor Weapon Systems. All right. And sitting on top for my optics, I've got, these are Leapers iron sights. All right. But they're metal and they've worked fine. I mean, they've never lost zero. They're iron sights. So, and they flip up, just like any other flip up iron sight. I think these ones will, just flip right up. And so if I put this in the rear will also flip right up. So if I ever lose my optics, I've got my backup iron sights to rely upon. All right. So, and then to put them down, you push a little button, and then that puts them down. Okay. And then going furthermore, I've got a Holosun 403G. Now this has the ACSS reticle. So if any of you are that know how optics work, the ACSS reticle is a very fast reticle, especially for any kind of acquisition, target acquisition. So if I'm shooting at a 6-foot deer that's standing up and running 5 miles to the left, I can actually get it pretty quick. The mount that it's on is what was this? Battle Steel 1/3 co-witness mount. This is actually more solid than the original Holosun mount that that the 403G came with. Now, one thing about the 403G and a lot of these hollow sun optics is that they have a shake awake function, which I think is great. Um, this optic will automatically turn on at the slightest touch, and so it's ready to go. And I think it has a battery life of something like 40,000 hours. So I change the battery out every year just to make sure that it's ready to go. This weapon has been zeroed, so to the irons and the uh, the dot, and then going back, I've got a hollow sun 3 times magnifier on the back. All right. Now, some of you like the LPVOs where you've got the full body, 1 to 6 or 1 to 8, but I prefer this because I find it faster doing this, okay, instead of trying to adjust the dial. And the other thing is that the eye relief on this type of optic is pretty much infinite. There's no little circle box that I got to try to adjust my eye to, like on an LPVO, which I have on my AR-10. All right, it takes, I guess, a slightly little bit more time to adjust to. All right, and so there you go. And this magnifier is actually a quick detach also. And then the bolt on here is a I think it's a nickel bolt, but it's super smooth. Actually, I'll take it apart and show you guys what the bolt looks like. But this is the original bolt that I've been running in it for I don't know how many years, 17, 15 years now. And every year I usually shoot at least about 500 to 600 rounds out of this particular gun. And that's not all just training. Some of it is just, when I take people out to go shooting, or just have a good time, this is the gun that we're going to use. But yeah, oddly enough, if keeping it clean, it's never had really any failures for anything. But I only run brass ammunition through this, because I think brass is what this was designed for. If I run my AK, I'm gonna run steel ammunition because that was designed for steel. But I'll run brass through this, and again, I've never had any problems. All right, so let me take it apart for you and show you what the insides look like. All right. All right, so here's my gun taken apart. You can see here's the upper, your standard AR pattern upper, and I am using a Viltor BCM charging handle. All right, I've also had this charging handle forever, and it's worked great. I mean, never had any problems with it, at all. And it's worn actually pretty good. But yeah, you could see that there, and that is VLTOR branded. I'm not sure if they still have these that are VLTOR branded, but yeah, I got this one a while back. And then this is the actual bolt. All right, super smooth. Yeah, a little bit dirty. I haven't cleaned it since the last time I took it out to shoot. The lower right here, okay. This the actual lower receiver is made by Matrix Aerospace, which is, another lower manufacturer, just like Aero Manufacturing, Colt, all of them, they basically make the same thing, a mil-spec lower receiver. And the trigger unit on there is a RA232, I think. So this has, I think, about a 3.5 pound trigger pull, but it's really light and very consistent. All right. On the inside, let me take this apart, the buffer. You guys can see I got a little fancy with the the buffer system because I wanted to experiment a little bit. But originally, I ran a, well, I can't take it out right now, but it's a captured buffer. I don't know if you can see that on the inside right there, but that is it's called a silent captured buffer that I have in there. I'm running, this is the most recent modification, is this right here, which is my ambidextrous fire selector switch that I have. This one is set up, I think this is set up for yeah, 90 degrees, but I can set this up as a 45-degree fire selector, but I kept it at 90 because if I'm showing people how to operate an AR type rifle, I I want to use whatever was the standard as much as possible. So I was actually hesitant about getting an ambidextrous one because usually these are only for right or left sided operation on here. Um, the grip here is an old Ergo grip that I find really comfortable. I may be changing this out with a Magpul K2 Plus grip that I use on my SBR, um, but I've had this one for many years and I've never taken it off. And also the lower parts kit on here is your standard lower lower parts kit other than the drop-in trigger that I have. This right here is I think this is an actual B5 systems. Yeah, this is made in the USA. B5 system stock. Um, Actually, no, I think this is one of the US made clones. But the B5 system stock is a clone, anyways, of the LMT SOP mod stock that was developed by the Naval Special Weapons Department or Naval Surface Warfare Department for the Navy SEALs. And so I like this stock. I actually run this stock as much as I can because it is actually very comfortable for me to run. I like the way it comes out, with these where you're supposed to put batteries into, because it's a lot more comfortable on my cheek, and I can find my cheek weld a lot quicker than I can with most of the newer skeleton type stocks or smaller type stocks. So I use this stock here as my standard go-to. All right. All right. So that's the internals. All right, everybody. So that was basically the rundown of my one of my AR pattern semi-automatic rifles. And again, this was built 16, 17 years ago in California. And I actually had a CCW in California too, if you can believe that. So, if you live in Kern County, you may be able to get a CCW there in California if you want. But yeah, that's it. And it's for the last 15, 16 years, it's been a great gun. Reliable and accurate, and I've really had no problems. There's a lot of YouTube videos on there on how to build these things, and so I encourage you, if you want to get an AR and don't have one yet, I would actually encourage you to build one. Just because it'll give you familiarity with your firearm, and so you kind of get to know everything about it, all the mechanics and how it functions. And so it's just a good way to learn about things that we have, that we are fortunate as Americans to be able to own. So with that, that's all I got for you today. God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the troops. Amen.